Hong Kong. It's famous for its shopping, nightlife, incredible food, bustling streets, busy harbour, and magnificent skyline. But it's also famous for something else.
He's a length in front of him there on the right. Flying rope through on the inside. Beauty Goring's there for third with Scarlett.
Horse racing. Hong Kong has a long and proud history when it comes to this sport. And the people here absolutely love it. Over the next 2 episodes of Racing Dreams, we are giving you exclusive access to the Hong Kong Jockey Club. In many ways, the heartbeat of this city. Join us as we visit the famous racing destinations of Happy Valley and Sha Tin. And we meet the Aussie jockeys, trainers and officials who are making it big in one of the most competitive racing jurisdictions on the planet.
So saddle up as we take you on a magical journey to one of the most exciting sporting destinations anywhere in the world. Welcome to Racing Dreams Hong Kong. What about this place? It is remarkable. It's Happy Wednesday at Happy Valley. It's exciting, it's powerful, it's heart-thumping. Every superlative you possibly want to use. It's remarkable. I haven't seen anything quite like it, and I've been covering sport for the best part of 40 years. And the best thing is, if you're an Australian or anywhere else around the world, you bring your passport, your ID, you get in for nothing, or it's $10 Hong Kong. Look at it. Just extraordinary.
Happy Wednesday is an institution here in Hong Kong and has been running under lights every week since 1973. And throughout that time, Australian jockeys, trainers and officials have played a significant role in making it the spectacle it is today. Like Greg Carpenter, the head of racing product for the Hong Kong Jockey Club.
Greg, I love the name. I know it sounds a little inane, doesn't it? But I love the name Happy Valley.
Well, it's amazing. There's been racing here in Happy Valley continuously since the 1840s.
Wow.
And the Hong Kong Jockey Club was formed in 1884. So when you think about it, people have been gathering in this natural environment for the last 180 years to go horse racing. The course itself has completely changed over that time. It's now one of the most unique race courses in the world, surrounded by high-storey apartment blocks, a magnificent grandstand. But this has really been one of the sporting hubs in Hong Kong through 3 centuries. My wife Leanne and I first came racing here in 1988, so 37 years ago. And for a person who had been to racetracks in Western Australia and around Australia, and at that time not a lot of night racing, to come here to Happy Valley to racing under lights, so close to the action, and in that respect it's very similar to Moonee Valley. You're right on top of the horses and the action. It's a very tight turning track. Seems a very short run in, but it's very hard to actually win when you take the front before the corner. But it lends itself to really exciting racing. The racing fans are up close and personal with the horses, the jockeys and the action.
Jenny Chapman, a former Victorian jockey, has called Hong Kong home for 3 decades.
So Jenny, do you still look up and think, I know this is 30 odd years on now, but do you still look up and say, wow, when you come here?
Yeah, look, I must admit I do. I can't believe this is my office and I get to come here and I get to hang around the horses, and the atmosphere at Happy Valley is just incredible. The beer garden, since that's been going, it's just got better and bigger and stronger, and it's just so much fun.
Let's wind the clock back to where it all began for you as a lover of horses, as a jockey.
Well, my dad was a horse trainer, so I started riding track work at Mentone when that used to exist. I was 10 years old there, and then we shifted to Caulfield that same year, and then I started riding track work there from then on. So I rode track work for 28 years, and I rode in races for 10 years. But of course, in those days, you could only ride against the women because you couldn't ride against the men. So yes, it eventually changed, but yeah, I was sort of riding in about 13 or 14 races throughout the year, each year, and I loved it. It was great.
And from down in the parade ring to high above it all in the caller's box, the Australian presence is unmissable here at Happy Valley.
So Mark, this was in your blood.
It is, Tim. It's been a long time racing dream. My old man used to go to the races every Saturday when he wasn't working, so spent as much time at Warwick Farm and Canterbury, Randwick, Rosehill as I could. Just love the colours and love the sport.
It's been a journey, hasn't it, to bring you here. You don't just arrive calling racing at Happy Valley and Sha-Tin.
Beauty Glory, as expected, out first to lead over Solid Impact and everyone's...
It's been a long journey. It's been a great one. Worked hard, driven many thousands of kilometres around Australia. Not so much in New Zealand, but 3 countries, countless race courses, countless hours, but worth every minute when you get here and you get to Happy Valley on nights like tonight and the crowd rocks in. It's a real party night at Happy Valley, and you go to the big days at Sha-Tin. So it's all been worthwhile, and there's been some great sights, great memories and great race meetings along the way.
Gone forward to be second. Everyone's star is now third.
Coming up later, the party starts as darkness descends and Happy Valley lights up. There's a saying, build it and they will come. It certainly applies to our next guest. You only have to mention the name Winfred in Hong Kong and everyone knows who you're talking about. He's been part of the Jockey Club for 3 decades. He's also the visionary that has made this organisation the colossus that it is today.
So Winfred, from my perspective, last night was my first experience of Happy Valley. I've watched it on television, I've watched it from afar, but you can't feel it unless you're there.
For me, I have to admit, Happy Wednesday is one of the most unique racing experience, race-going experience you can have in the world. First of all, it's a racetrack in the middle of the city, surrounded by skyscrapers at night, and the racing in Hong Kong is extremely competitive. You are very close to horses, and then the combination with live world-class racing and entertainment, live music, creates a completely new race-going experience, which attracts not only the classical hardcore racing fan, it creates an atmosphere for a much younger audience. And this is what I call magical.
Oh, absolutely. That's the word, isn't it? It's magical, and it's absolutely international as well. The impact internationally is huge.
If you see, we as Hong Kong Racing, we had always the ambition to be a global product. So when you look at people who work in this organization, from the management team, as well if you look at horses on the track, we have every race meeting, humbly say, like a Melbourne Cup. We have horses from all around the world with a very strong representation of Australia, New Zealand, but we have horses from England, Ireland, France, Germany, South Africa, South America. We have jockeys, I would say some of the world's best jockeys, definitely with Zach and with you, Bowman, top-class, world-class Australian jockeys. But they compete with absolutely world-class jockeys from other countries. And this is the internationalization of Hong Kong racing, and that has enabled us as a racing product to export our races now into 26 countries. We had yesterday night a turnover of 1.3.5 billion Hong Kong, and 28% of the turnover comes from our partners overseas. So this is what we think is a global racing product with sports and entertainment. But you have to come to Hong Kong, and this is part of the equine tourism, and obviously you are the best advocate to tell the story.
Oh, absolutely. And everywhere you look is a story. Everything you peel back is a story. And I know that racing is the core. That's the centre. But the Hong Kong Jockey Club is one of the biggest sports organisations in the world. Is so much bigger than just the racing.
If you look at our history, we are now 140 years old, 1884, but we have been always one of the key brand anchors is racing. But our contribution to the community, we are one of the biggest employers in Hong Kong with 9,500 full-time employees and 15,000 part-time employees. We are the biggest taxpayer in Hong Kong. Last year it was 28 billion Hong Kong dollars. And we are the biggest charity contributor, not only in Hong Kong, but we are in the top 10 globally. So last year our charity donation was over 10 billion. This integrated model where you have racing, you channel wagering demand for community benefits and not for profit. What we do, we give this back to the community, anchors us in the community, and we are part of the community. We are not only racing as a tiny part of an ecosystem. Our contribution to GDP is 1.4%, and we have only 1,300 horses, which is approximately 0.8% of the world's horse population. But 8% of the best horses in the world are trained in Hong Kong. So this is the global character of Hong Kong racing. But we can only do this if we have the connectivity and if we have people, the best people from around the world and from Hong Kong, who work together for what I would call the most global racing product on a daily basis.
Tram, and as you can see, it's absolutely breathtaking. This has been running since 1888. Over 150 years on, it looks very, very different. Back in the old days, this was very much meant for public officials and government. These days, you see tourists, you see locals travelling up Hong Kong Island to their residence. Over 11,000 a day, 4 million people a year. Well, as you can see around me, this is just part of the 11,000 group of people that travel up and down the Peak Tram on a daily basis. As we mentioned, 4 million a year. And we don't want to give away the photo. Hello, we see people from all around the world, lots of locals, and this is what they're here to see. I need another photo, sorry. That's what they're here to see. That is phenomenal. Have looked very, very different back in 1888. But here we are at the top of Hong Kong Island, the highest viewing peak in Hong Kong, back onto Kowloon, and you can see the harbour on a misty Wednesday morning. Racing Dreams Hong Kong, and Huey Bowman, there it is, Hong Kong. What a city. It's every time I come here, I just think, what an amazing place.
It is, Tim. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, we've lived here now for 2.5 years. We've called Hong Kong home. Yeah, it's been an amazing lifestyle change and a great place to live and work, and it's very vibrant. There's always something happening. New people coming through town as well, so it's a very, very social city. and a lot of business gets done.
Absolutely, unbelievable. And vibrant is. It's almost electric charge, this city. We're here in the middle of the daytime,
Yep.
but it's almost like two very separate moods. Everything lights up. And often at Happy Valley, you're looking at it behind you.
Well, Happy Valley, I would highly recommend for anyone visiting Hong Kong or living here because, I mean, I've ridden in racetracks all over the world. I've been very fortunate in that respect. There's nothing quite like Happy Valley. It's a very tight track, but it's literally in the middle of the city.
And the family settled in well, you and the two girls?
Family have settled in
well. Christine?
Yep, Christine and the kids. So we live on Hong Kong Island, across the water there. But no, we've settled in well. The kids are doing well at school. And like I said, we've called Hong Kong home for the last 2.5 years and we'll continue to do so for the foreseeable future.
You've had quite a bit of success in those 2.5 years, but if you look back, you've had great success in Hong Kong in the past. We're here on Derby Week, and you've won 2 derbies. That was coming in and out, and that was through the Winx era. Tell us about those 2.
My initiation to Hong Kong was some 11 years ago. It was a bit of a slow start for me. I think I went 6 or 8 weeks without a winner. But by the end of my time, it was a 3-month contract. By the end of my time, I started to gather some momentum, and I came back later in the year for the international race meeting, John O'Shea, and picked up the ride on Werther for John Moore. And it was through that stint earlier that year that I created the relationship, and anyway, Werther ended up, he won that day, won I think a Class 3 mile for his first run in Hong Kong, and went on to win the Hong Kong Derby later that season.
It's Werther and Victory Magic, eye for eye, shoulder to shoulder, a tremendous battle. Werther coming out on top from Victory Magic, and Werther, it's a sweet taste of victory in the Derby as Werther defeats Victory Magic.
From there, some opportunities grew. He won the QE2.
Werther absolutely destroying them here in the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. Magnificent Werther.
The following year in the Champions in Chater.
How sweet it is, Werther. Werther wins by 2.5.
So he was a winner of 3 Group 1 races here in Hong Kong, and picked up the ride on Lucky Bubbles as well through that relationship, and later on we won the Derby on Furore, so for Frankie Law.
Furore broke clear from Dark Dream, Sunny Speed and White Cuckoo. Furore's got the Derby parcelled up. Frankie Law, what a moment. And Furore beats White Cuckoo, Sunny Speed and Dark Dream.
Derby is the one a lot of owners want to win, though, isn't it? There's a certain nostalgia to winning this particular race.
Well, there certainly is. You know, of all the races on the calendar, the Derby is the one the owners want to win, and some of them invest pretty heavily to try and purchase the right horse for the race. You know, there's some heavy investments made to try and win the race, and that doesn't mean you will.
Well, these programs, we've got 2 of them, Racing Dreams Hong Kong. It's been such a pleasure to put together, going to air just before some more real big races.
As far as the big races go, I guess the international meeting sort of holds court for the season with the world stage.
Later in the year, yeah.
That's in December, so it's early in our season. But you know, for the Hong Kong horses, I think, you know, they're more geared up actually for these races coming up. So the FWD Champions Day is on in the end of April, and yeah, you'll see all the headline horses racing there.
What's your message to Australians, New Zealanders that haven't been to Hong Kong? They love horse racing. It offers so much.
My message would be it's an easy commute. You know, it's an 8-hour flight. It's very easy to do. You know, you get here, there's plenty to do. It's a small place, so you can get around and see the entire city. With the way the travel is, you can do it in 3 or 4 days. Great restaurants, great vibe, great city.
Racing Dreams Hong Kong is brought to you by the Hong Kong Jockey Club.
Racing Dreams Hong Kong, and just a short ride from Happy Valley is this amazing restaurant. It's called Arcane, Michelin star restaurant. Don't you love the open kitchen? Just looks superb. And it is owned and run by an Australian, Shane Osborne, born in Perth. Been here for over a decade. It really is an institution here in Hong Kong, and it's a must-do when you travel here. He's also started a new operation just across the road, and it's got a real Australian feel, a real Australian name. Let's go and meet Shane. Shane, Tim Gilbert.
Tim, pleasure to meet you, mate.
Lovely to meet you.
How you doing?
Good, great to be. I've heard so much about your restaurants. Great.
Oh, thank you. Well, this is Servo. Come in and have a look.
Absolutely. So Shane, why Hong Kong?
That's a good question. You know, as all Australians do, we like to put on our backpack and get out and see the world. And, you know, I left Perth in 1990, spent a lot of time in Europe. And then my wife and I got a bit tired of the weather in London and just the lifestyle there, and we wanted to come to Asia. So we were looking at either Singapore and Hong Kong just had that electric appeal. Came here about 25 years ago and was just blown away by the city.
There's a magic to it, isn't there? There really is, and that's every time I come to Hong Kong, you feel it. I should have started with congratulations, because you've retained your Michelin star with Arcane, your fine dining restaurant.
You.
Well done. And
thanks,
we're in here with Servo. I love it, Servo.
Yeah.
It's like driving down from Sydney to Melbourne, popping into the Servo and getting a beautiful big hamburger. Tell me about it.
Getting filled up for the day. Look, there's a huge Australian community here. There's around 100,000 Australian passport holders that live in Hong Kong. We always wanted to kind of play on that Australiana, you know, a Servo is for everybody, right? That's where you stop to refill, you get your fags, or, you know, you get your cornetto ice cream.
I love the name.
Oh, my Lord, Lamingtons, which the Lamington was
not such a rocky road.
Yeah, not such a rocky road. You know, we've got the Bogan breakfast sandwich on. We're doing a chicken pie.
Nice.
We're just playing with that a little bit. We're doing actually something for the Australian truffle season in June. We're going to do cheesels filled with a truffle cream, which is going to be quite an interesting
Can you
one.
cry back a few of those and send them over? It's interesting that you mentioned the whole Australian link and the amount of people here, because that's what has brought us here, because of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, and this is Racing Dreams Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And you think of the top of the jockey list, Zach Purton.
I mean, Zach Purton is not only a great jockey and a great guy, he's actually a great eater. He loves to go out and dine. You know, he comes to Arcane. He's been here. You know, there's a lot of the trainers and the people that are working behind the scenes are Australian down at the Jockey Club.
And the thing about Happy Valley, it is just here.
Just down the road. And that's the great thing about Hong Kong. It's so accessible, so easy to get around. So you can have breakfast here, lunch at Arcane, go to Happy Valley, and if you get out early enough, you can come back for a burger and another beer just to finish off your night.
A little bit of not so much the rocky road.
Wow.
Oh, that takes you back.
Bit of that larrikin Aussie spirit.
Oh, I love it. And a fine dining experience across the road with a lovely glass of something.
Right on.
Many people dream of being a race caller when they're young, but it's very hard to find that mix of voice, accuracy and passion. Darren Flindell definitely does have it, and he called the races here in Hong Kong for 16 years.
The crowd really buzzing up. The horses are buzzed. They're pumped. Sha Tin, the biggest meeting of the year are the internationals in December, so they normally get crowds of 100,000 or so. Chinese New Year is always a bumper meeting. Particularly when the CEO runs around handing out what they call red packets with small amounts of money. And everyone jumping over each other just to get one packet off the big boss. And the last meeting of the season is always the biggest capacity crowd, and when the gates open in the last race, the roar of the crowd is just like a soccer grand final.
And we're ready to run now.
The interest from the public. On Monday, the acceptances come out about 11 o'clock in the morning, and by 2, 3 in the afternoon, all the racing publications are now printing up all the form for the Wednesday meeting. And sometimes you had to be pretty quick to get down there if you wanted to get that form guide early, because they'd sell out so fast. And then you see people walking the streets with their racing guide 2 days before the meeting, and everywhere you go, everyone's just doing form. Because the one thing that's probably a little bit different about Hong Kong to other jurisdictions, it's really the only game in town to have a punt. The Hong Kong Chinese, they take racing very seriously.
What about some of those great horses you called at Sha Tin? Because you're talking some of the best of the best.
And we're ready to run.
I loved calling Abel friend there in the latter part of his career, because he and Designs on Rome had some tremendous clashes, and he was a big, robust horse, Abel friend, and he was very popular.
But Abel Friend bolts up for Joe Moreira. A spine-tingling performance by Abel Friend. He's made it look so easy.
In the era when Darren Beadman was riding Viva Bataka, he was a real champion, raced by Stanley Ho, the boss of Macau back then.
It's the old 8-year-old Viva Bataka. What a grand moment in racing.
We saw many of the greats over the years, and that international meeting would bring the best from Europe, and we get a few Americans and Australians going there. It was just a real melting pot of the best riders and the best horses from all around the world converging at that central point.
Not dissimilar to Times Square in New York. We're at the famous Sogo crossing in Hong Kong Island to be exact. And there is people everywhere. Causeway Bay, if you love your shopping down that way, you can do it to your heart's content. Neon everywhere. Buses. Ding-ding trams. And if you like a big screen, there's a big screen. As the Aqualuna, the wonderful Chinese junk boat, goes past us here, Hollywood has the Walk of Fame. In Hong Kong, it is the Avenue of the Stars, and their hand imprints all along here, highlighting wonderful actresses and actors of the past. And it's quite appropriate I mention the word star, because you talk of James McDonald and he is an out-and-out superstar. You mention his name around horse trainers and you immediately have their attention. He has been twice World Jockey of the Year, including last year, and done the most extraordinary things here in Hong Kong with great horses like the brilliant Voyage Bubble and the out-and-out superstar, Romantic Warrior.
Romantic Warrior comes up. The 2024 City Hong Kong Gold Cup fields ready. 1.5 Romantic Warrior. And they're racing. Romantic Warrior and Voyage Bubble. It's Romantic Warrior, a neck in front. Voyage Bubble sticks to him. Still Romantic Warrior, a neck Voyage Bubble. The champ finds, lifts, wins. Romantic Warrior beat Voyage Bubble and Nimble Nimbus.
So James, I saw a nice shot with you and Romantic Warrior on your Instagram page. You love him.
This is Romantic Warrior loads away into one, measured time loads forward.
Yeah, no, he's a really good horse, and he's really enjoyed himself over in the Middle East, as everyone can tell, by winning the Jabahata. So he's settled into Saudi now, so all guns blazing.
But here is the champ, over from Hong Kong, the global racing sensation, a Dubai Group 1 champion.
What about Romantic Warrior in the Hong Kong Gold Cup? Can you talk us through that? That was fantastic last year.
Yeah, it was. Phenomenal race, and to be able to win it 3 times in a row for a horse like that, it's cemented his stature as one of the world's best racehorses, and he deserves places with that title, and because he's just taken it all before him.
And Romantic Warrior, McDonald all pumped up.
And the other big race, Voyage Bubble in the Hong Kong Mile.
Well, they're ready. Who's this year's King of the Mile?
Yeah, phenomenal day. Obviously, to associate yourself with 2 really high-class thoroughbreds over in a jurisdiction that's really tough is something that we're really proud of. Voyage Bubble, he was sensational on the day, and he's been a bit of a horse that's probably lost in the shadows of Romantic and Golden 60, but now it's his time to shine because Romantic's travelling and Golden 60's retired, so it's a good time for him.
Voyage Bubble's going to see it out, and he's going to be the King of the Mile.
You get asked this question a lot about whether you'd ever move to Hong Kong. You've ridden so much up there. Sometimes people forget how young you are. Is it a possibility somewhere on the landscape down the track?
Oh, anything's a possibility. We're in a racing jurisdiction that's going so well here in Sydney, so the landscape changes all the time, so you never know.
Racing Dreams Hong Kong is brought to you by the Hong Kong Tourism Board. Discover Hong Kong.
Sha Tin, one of the great racecourses anywhere in the world. It's also home for lots and lots of people that work in this industry, and it's a great home. I caught up with Nicole Purton, the wife of superstar jockey Zac Purton. So the big question, Nicole, is when are you going to beat Zac at golf?
It's definitely coming, Tim. I just don't know when.
Yeah.
My score is improving.
Yeah.
I actually played the other day and I feel like it was the first time I was able to score and write it down, put it in my little Guinness. Golf is probably the hardest sport I've ever had a crack at.
What about this place? Isn't it fantastic?
Yeah.
The sense of community. You've got Zac and Brenton over there with your kids, his kids. It really is lovely.
Yeah, we're really, really lucky to live here. We arrived in 07. We got welcomed to Racecourse Gardens, and I didn't really know what to expect, except basically what it is all the jockeys, trainers and vets, all the expats. We live on this compound. But I would say one thing that I really love about living here, since we've had our kids, Roxy and Cash, who were born in Hong Kong, you're right, the sense of community, especially with the children and the parents, that's like at the forefront. You don't really think about the fact that they are your competitors. But we all just have a really nice vibe. Everybody gets along. We do lots of kids' parties. Kids are at our place. Our kids are at the other parents' place. Like, we're just really lucky to have each other. And I don't think it's a normal environment for probably someone looking in, but when you're actually in amongst it, it's such a nice place to live.
And as a parent and you're a family person, you must feel like you're giving them something that lots don't ever get the opportunity to see. They're seeing another culture, they're seeing the world from another view.
Yeah. And that's something that we try and remind our kids of. Firstly, they go to an international school here, but there's a lot of local children. They're exposed to Cantonese and Mandarin language every day. They actually study a lot of Mandarin. They can't speak it fluently yet, but they can definitely understand. So, you know, firstly, having friends from all parts of the world, that's so special. But I think being in Hong Kong and living the life we live, something that Zac and I are so grateful for is the amount of time that we get to spend with each other as a family, which from the small time that Zac and I were together when we still lived in Australia, it wasn't that same dynamic. I was at work all day, he was at work all day, and there was a lot more racing. So you really only had those evening times together, whereas like, unless Zac's out working during the day or at a meeting or whatever, he gets to see the kids off to school, he can come to their assemblies or come to their sports afternoons, and then he's home when they're home. It's just that really quality family time, that I think has made our family unit so strong, and I think our kids unknowingly would appreciate that because they get to spend so much time with mum and dad, especially dad.
And you keep home alive as well. We're watching Cash, he's a little athlete.
Yeah.
Him in his Roosters jersey with his name on the back.
Yeah, oh, he loves it. He's the most sporty child, and he and Zach just love watching the Roosters, the Swans, but to be honest, any sport.
The show is called Racing Dreams Hong Kong, and they do come true. They're coming true in front of our eyes in so many ways.
They do. Hong Kong has brought our racing dream to life, and it has come true. We couldn't have imagined what lay before us when we arrived back in 2007. And again, yeah, it sounds cheesy, but our dreams have come true. Without being here, the life that we have, we would have most likely never have experienced. And I'm just so grateful to have had this journey with Zach in Hong Kong, and I hope it continues.
They say Hong Kong Asia's world city, and it is, isn't it? Isn't it? Absolutely. Like, we've been here a few days. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. Look, I never knew sort of what I thought Hong Kong would be prior to moving here, but it's definitely exceeded all expectations. Yeah, it's an amazing country, plenty of natural, like, nature reserve, hiking, especially where we are over near Sha Tin, so amazing city.
How different is it to the mindset that you might have had before you come?
I think the mindset I sort of had was maybe a bit of a concrete jungle and maybe not as big as I thought it was, but I feel like we got the best of both worlds here. Obviously in Sha Tin, I live on track. We've got, like I said, plenty of hiking and those sorts of places, and you're 20 minutes to sort of Sai Kung, which is a beautiful spot. Then you know the other way, you go 20 minutes over to the Hong Kong Island, and it's got some of the best restaurants in the world. Yeah, like I said, it's I couldn't speak highly enough of Hong Kong.
Great for the family as well. You've already got 2 young children at school and preschool, and another one on the way.
It's a very safe country, Hong Kong. Kids enjoy what they do here, and they enjoy their life.
And that little playground at Sha Tin is like a little wonderland, isn't it? Because they all get together, and what is Zach's boys the king of the playground?
Yeah, Cash is probably holding fort at the moment. He's been there the longest, I suppose, in a way. But yeah, he rules the roost. But we're very lucky with the riding roster we have at the moment, even the trainers, that we have a situation where everyone's got young kids and everyone's a young family, so it's very helpful.
Which 4-year-old is going to shoot for once in a lifetime glory? It is the BMW Hong Kong Derby with race caller Mark McNamara.
And you are on the favourite. We're here Derby week, Rubulot, for David Hayes. To give it some significance, this is like one of the real big races in Australia, isn't it?
Everyone in Australia wants to win the Melbourne Cup. Everyone in Hong Kong wants to win the Derby. Every owner, trainer, jockey, that's what they strive for. Owners are buying horses from anywhere in the world to try and get them to compete on Derby week. So it's very exciting to be a part of it, and not only be a part of it, to be on a live hope. So for a fellow Australian, yeah, it'd be nice to try and hopefully get a result for David as well.
They still haven't got California Spangle. Red line starting up the inside. Beauty Eternal. They are going to turn back time with California Spangle. Brenton Avdulla, you genius.
You're already a Group 1 winner. Tell us about that.
Look, I've been very successful back home. I obviously came here with a Sydney Championship and winning Group 1s there, but to win a Group 1 in Hong Kong was very special on California Spangle, he was one of the local favourites, and then to travel to Dubai with him and win the Group 1 in Dubai on World Cup night, they're just things that you dream of.
Star of Mystery in pursuit, along with Bill Heil, but it's California Spangle and Brenton Avdulla. Star of Mystery's going to have one last crack at him, but it is Hong Kong in the Alquaz. 3/4 of a length. Beats home Star of Mystery, who was brave.
It's been a big sort of couple years. It's been nearly 2 years since I've been here, and we've really enjoyed it and had plenty of success. Hopefully it's only the start of what can be hopefully a really lucrative part of my life here in Hong Kong.
They go to battle again. It's Eternal and Joy. Joy's going to beat Eternal today. And it's Abdullah and Beauty Joy.
Thank you. Well, this is just a perfect way to travel, isn't it? This is the iconic Star Ferry since 1871, taking passengers across to Hong Kong Island from Kowloon and vice versa. And where we're staying at the Langham, it's just so easy. It's just a short stroll down to the harbour, on you get, and a few minutes later you're on Hong Kong Island. The iconic Star Ferry for over 150 years. How easy is that? All for under $1. Magic. The Peak, the highest viewing platform in Hong Kong. And when you think on a similar subject, Australians in Hong Kong in horse racing have gone to the dizzying heights on so many occasions. You look at the Jockey Championship at the moment, and right up the top is Zach Purton, Hugh Bowman, Brenton Avdulla. But there's been so many other jockeys that have excelled here, including Tommy Berry, who has won 10 Group 1s in Hong Kong. I caught up with him for Racing Dreams. So Tommy, you've raced a lot in Hong Kong. Now let's look at a few of these horses. 10 Group 1s in Hong Kong. Designs on Rome.
Yeah, he was incredible.
Designs on Rome, back-to-back cups.
He was able to win the Classic Cup leading into the Derby, won the Derby, and then 2 weeks later beat the older horses in the QE2. So I think he won, probably combined 7 or 8 Group 1s over there over 3 years. Him and Abel Friend were sort of battling quite a little bit over there, and I had a great association with him, and probably one of the best horses I've ever put my leg over.
And Designs on Rome wins the Derby by a length.
What about Pakistan Star?
Yeah, unique character.
And he used to stop during the race.
Well, he used to go a furlong or sometimes get to the half mile. It was the same spot all the time, and he just used to pull up. And
Oh, there's a problem. Harbour Masters fourth, and Pakistan Star is not responding at all to Joe Moreira's riding. He's pulled up to a walk and now a stop. Unbelievable situation here.
He did it a few times with Joe Moreira, and I remember I got on him one time and I got along with him really well in the trial, and they said, can you ride him in the Champions Chater Cup? And he come out and won that in an absolute hand cannon.
But Pakistan Star, he is the shining light of Hong Kong racing, and he takes a second Group 1.
And I was riding Chautauqua at the same time then, so I seemed to get along with them sort of horses that had a bit of a quirk to them, and it was incredible that we had them two guys going around at the same time.
Of course, Chautauqua. Now that was a very Australian win. When I talk about that, you had a lot of pride in winning on Chautauqua in Hong Kong.
Yeah, it was, and there was a lot of Australians that went over there to watch him because they knew what he could do, and everyone wanted to see that exciting burst of his last final 200 down the Sha Tin Straight, and he didn't fail to deliver on that occasion, and probably one of the biggest nights on the drink I've ever had over there in Len Kwai Fong with the Hawkses and the crew that came over. But for me, it was like, I'd ridden Group 1 winners over there before, but to win on an Australian horse over there in a Group 1 was like competing in the Olympics and winning gold. So it was a pretty special feeling.
What's your message to people that haven't been out and about racing in Hong Kong?
When you feel like you've seen everything on a racetrack, or you feel like you've been to the best racetracks anywhere in the world, and if you haven't been to Sha Tin or Happy Valley, then you haven't been. Because going over to there and ride and be a part of you know, their community, because the community of racing and people over there are incredible. It's just something you've got to witness. As much as I tell you how good it is, it's not going to be able to justify what it's like to actually be there in person, especially Happy Valley and being at a racetrack in the middle of the city.
Racing Dreams Hong Kong is brought to you by the Langham Hong Kong. Celebrate the everyday.
It's Happy Wednesday here at Happy Valley. The band is playing, the racing's electric, and the punters are having a ball. Happy Valley has been a happy hunting ground for many an Aussie trainer over the years. Mark Newnham has called Hong Kong home for 2 years and is already building an impressive resume of winners.
Crunched power kept and delivers 2.1 and 1.1. Hugh Bowman and Mark Newnham.
Talk about timing. Huey Bowman on board the Australian double.
Yeah, no, good to see. He doesn't ride for me very often, Hugh, but when you do get him, it is an advantage.
He started as favourite.
Yeah, look, and we thought he could win the race. He is a 7-year-old and hasn't won for 2 years, but he's produced his best tonight.
You can't take the smile off your face. You seem very happy about it.
Well, it's an exciting place when you're racing here. There's always plenty of atmosphere, and I'm sure we'll see a couple of very happy owners.
What about this place? It's extraordinary. It's my first time here.
Oh, it's magical because you're right on top of the action. It's a great venue for night racing just because they're right on top of you, right to the 7th floor, and there's always a big crowd.
Nothing quite like it in the world?
Nowhere. And look, you'll see owners here get so excited winning a race. It's very difficult to win, and when they come out and win like that, it's pretty rewarding.
Quite appropriately called Happy Wednesday.
Absolutely, I'm happy.
A night at Happy Valley offers so much more than just racing. With 2 levels of bars and restaurants, there's something here for everyone. From the Vantage, with the live DJ, gourmet menu and unrivaled views of the track, to the slightly more relaxed Beat, famous for live bands and Happy Valley's signature cocktails. James Ross is the Executive General Manager of Racing and Wagering for the Hong Kong Jockey Club.
James, you can't help but have a smile on your face. This is Happy Wednesday. It's extraordinary.
It is. Look, Happy Valley, one of the world's most unique race courses. I think it's not only a top 5 destination in Hong Kong, but possibly one of the great race courses of the world. And you'll see a massive crowd at Happy Valley every Wednesday. It always delivers, both on the track and off the track. And from a customer experience perspective, a visitor perspective, a sporting or a racing fan, you get everything at Happy Valley.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we're in between races here, and there's an Irish band going on out there in the middle. It is the ultimate party, and it happens every Wednesday.
It does, and I think the regularity of that, the fact that everybody knows Happy Valley is the place to be in Hong Kong, it always delivers, I think, for people all around the world. It's been the foundation of Hong Kong horse racing, for the best part of 180 years. It really is everything I think about Hong Kong racing is Happy Valley, and we see so much global participation and global interest in Happy Valley races. I think you can go to most countries and you'll find people tuning in to Happy Valley on a Wednesday night or Wednesday morning, wherever they'll be.
And the thing is, I've obviously covered racing for a number of years now, and I've spoken to you and others about Happy Valley, but you have to come to see it all, don't you? You have to come to see the high rises, you have to come to see the vertical grandstairs and the party atmosphere.
You do. I think that's all part of its uniqueness. It's sitting right in the heart of Hong Kong, very much all surrounded by the business district and the residential district. Very unique with a number of playing fields. It's a community asset, so I'd argue that its visitation is one of the highest globally of race courses, and I think that's what engages so many people in it. You see people running the track throughout the day, and you see them to the end of a race meeting enjoying a fantastic racing experience, a social experience like no other. So it's an engaging race course, and I think everybody's captivated when they come here. And I've got to be honest, and being in Hong Kong for more than 10 years, I've never grown tired of Happy Valley racing.
It is great to have your company on Racing Dreams Hong Kong. Well, when you think of racing at Sha Tin and Happy Valley, it is very much a way of life in this electric charged city, and look around us, it's just magical. Talk about electric charge with the neon and bringing things to life. There's also a very big Australian flavour, as we've seen with jockeys and trainers, also with inside the Hong Kong Jockey Club itself. Andrew Harding is the Executive Director of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, and I caught up with him for Racing Dreams. Andrew, we're coming off the back of a night at Happy Valley. That is unbelievable. Look, I've covered sport for nearly 40 years all around the world. That's extraordinary.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, you and 16,000 others. It was a great night, but we do that every Wednesday. It's very much part of our vision for racing that we have to introduce new audiences to it, and we do different things at Sha Tin and Happy Valley, but Happy Valley with that Happy Wednesday experience is something really unique. And we get a lot of people when they come from overseas. That's number one to number three, but it's somewhere in the top few things they want to do when they come to Hong Kong.
And that's part of the messaging of Racing Dreams Hong Kong, is to say to Australians, come, because you won't believe it when you get here.
Absolutely. It's funny, a couple of weeks ago I was making my way across to the racecourse and I bumped into two people taking photos with the horses, the Olympic horses that we have in between the two areas. They're from the UK, and this was the thing they wanted to see in Hong Kong. They wanted to be at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. So I took them in, showed them into the weighing room and stuff, gave them a bit of a tour, and then set them on their way to go and get a beer.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have loved it. So when you think of the competitors here, whether they be equine or human, we're talking the very best of the world.
Finds, lifts.
You mentioned the two words romantic warrior anywhere in the racing world, and they go, yeah. You've got Zach Burton, Hugh Bowman, Brenton Avdulla, just to skim the surface of the Australian input here. And the trainers, everything.
Look, it's absolutely key to our vision for racing here that we want to be world class and where we can be world leading. And so that means taking the best talent from around the world and also developing local talent.
And it's not an overstatement to say we're talking about arguably the biggest sports organisation in the world. It's right up there.
I certainly think we're in the pantheon of the biggest and the most successful organisations. If you look at the NBA, some of the UK football teams, etc. Obviously there are other franchises that are extraordinarily successful, but we aspire to be at that level.
Just looking at the Australian market, Australian wagering market, because it's really connected.
Yeah, look, certainly it is. It's connected because when I talk about our vision to be global, part of that is also in the wagering sense. So having Australia a participant in the World Pool is very important to us. We take some of the best racing from Australia, and our customers here are able to enjoy that, and it can also increasingly, we hope, form part of what we offer through the World Pool.
Yeah, and the thread of our discussion is about being international. In 2 years' time, you'll be racing in China. So the expansion of the Hong Kong Jockey Club.
Absolutely. So we opened Trung Pha in 2018. We've staged one race meeting there, but in the meantime, we've expanded the stabling capacity from 600 to 1,000 boxes, and we've built a grandstand, which will be ready for us to start regular racing in the mainland from October of next year. So it's another really exciting step in the development of racing in this region.
Yeah, racing dreams coming true. Finally, changing pace a little bit. You're a Queenslander from Longreach. Makes you a Maroon origin time?
Well, is that... No. There's no doubt about that. And funnily enough, it can become a very tense time, even though it's tense enough back in Australia. I remember Kim Kelly when he was the chief stock. We race, of course, on the Wednesday night when the Origins normally played, and Kim was always terrified that someone was going to come in and tell him something before he could go home after the last and watch it.
Oh, I love it. Andrew, thanks so much for chatting with us.
My pleasure.
Coming up in the next episode of Racing Dreams Hong Kong, we check in with the king of jockeys, Zach Purton.
Welcome to my backyard. Hope you didn't get that kick.
David Hayes chats to us about this superstar, K-Ing Rising. What is it about him?
He's just very fast. He breaks track records, or nearly does, with ease.
We hear more from the boss of the Hong Kong Jockey Club, and the Aussies rule the roost at Sha Tin on Derby Day. That and so much more on Racing Dreams Hong Kong.